Happy Fragrant Friday, Fraghead. Hey everybody, this is Ben here at That Cologne Guy, coming at you with a new review. You've seen the title, you've seen the description, so you know that I am reviewing none other than, oh yeah, Imitation Man by Amouage. I'm going to start off with the notes here in a minute, but let me just mention quickly 3 or 4 things that I'd like to address before I start. Number one is a subscriber, Ramsey, sent in a package of 5 Amouage decants recently, and I'm going through and reviewing them, knowing that it's my favorite house. Thank you so much, Ramsey. I really, really appreciate that. What an incredibly kind gesture. So the second thing is I'd say is yet again, since last Friday, we have had a blast of new subscribers. Nope, actually pun intended. And I really, really appreciate that because I don't know if this is your case, but I probably don't do a good enough job of self-promoting. And so I need to work on that. That'll be my goal this year. So I don't do a lot on Instagram. I don't do a lot on Twitter. And I just really love having this conversation with you every Friday. And of course, all the comments throughout the week. It's just so much fun. And I will work on the Instagram and Twitter part, but in spite of that, you guys keep subscribing. So thank you very, very much. In fact, I'm approaching 400 subscribers quite soon. So I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Then the next thing I'd like to say is if you stumbled onto this review specifically because you were looking for Imitation Man, this review is going to be slightly different, I think, than other reviews in the sense that I want you to take away from this the notion of why they called it Imitation Man, because the name is a little cringeworthy at times. I mean, I don't know about you, but it is a little cheesy, corny, cringeworthy, whatever adjective you like to use. But I think once you hear the story behind it, I think you will things will become clear. So there you have it. A few things about this one. There's a lot going on in this fragrance. And so hopefully in this review, we'll go through all the nuances, the ebbs and the flows of Imitation Man by Amouage. Okay, so I can talk about the notes specifically, but here's what I'd like to address in a more general sense. The initial blast is citron, and I saw this listed, and I have to tell you, it's citron. Citron is... Oftentimes it's the there's a type of citron that they usually use in the pictures, and it looks like a yellow squid, and that one is called Buddha's fingers or Buddha's hands. I don't remember citron. So it looks like a yellow squid. This one though is just citron, and it looks like a lemon, but it tastes like a grapefruit. And I have to tell you, on my skin, I would not have guessed citron. I would have guessed grapefruit, no doubt. This is a grapefruit dominant fragrance on my skin. In fact, here's what I would say for the initial blast. Welcome to Ruby Red Squirt Pop. Now you're going to tell me in the comments, Ben, I have never tasted, I would never go so low as to buy Ruby Red Squirt Pop. You have. You absolutely have. You know it. In fact, admit it in the comments, okay? So you've had Ruby Red at a party somewhere, Ruby Red Squirt Pop, or grapefruit flavored Perrier. One of the two, but the smell really hit me and took me back to the old Ruby Red days. So this is, for me personally, this is a grapefruit-based fragrance, which is kind of odd because they list this as a leather and a chypre. Now, you guys know that it's CHYPRE, and it's pronounced chypre, and it looks like chypre or chypre, and that's the word in French for cypress. So I was a little bit surprised by that, actually. To me, it's more of a grapefruit / leather. There's just so much going on. This is just a very flamboyant, as I said, unforgettable fragrance. So that's the initial blast. Grapefruit, which I later found out was citron. See, then all of a sudden, the iris and the rose mix, and they mix to create a very strong makeup scent. But here's what I want you to know, though. In my opinion, this is not a makeup-based or makeup-dominant fragrance. This is kind of like makeup fragrances for people who are lukewarm on makeup fragrances, which I am. I know a lot of people have compared this to Dior Homme. I know that. I see where they're going with this, but let me just say Imitation Man has nothing to do with that, okay? The name behind it has nothing to do with it, because this is not an imitation of Dior Homme. I don't see this one as makeup dominant. I think the makeup complements the citron. Then all of a sudden you get this you get this kind of earthy, smoky feel to the fragrance, because you've got myrrh, vetiver, patchouli, and leather coming in. It listed violet, but I don't get too much of the violet. Coming in as in the base notes. So, I mean, you know, oftentimes in my episodes I say versatility is off the charts, right? Or I'll say something like, this one is not meant for the office, but I would wear it to the office. I don't think I would wear this to the office. This one is not, in fact, versatility is not off the charts. So I guess it's on the charts. And not only is it on the charts, it's in one column of the chart. Folks, this is not a day fragrance. This is not a night fragrance. This is a wee hours of the morning fragrance. This one is definitely an after-hours party after you've been clubbing, no doubt. In fact, I'm going to read in a little bit what Christopher Chong said, because oftentimes the descriptions, I'm kind of intrigued by the descriptions of these fragrances, because I think they hire poets sometimes to say these things that don't seem anything like the fragrance. This one is different, though. This one actually really is a good representation of the description, or the opposite, right? The description is a good representation of the fragrance, however you want to do it. So I'll be reading what Christopher Chong, the creative director of Amouage, said about this name and also the fragrance in just a minute. So you're going to start off with this kind of grapefruit blast, and then you all of a sudden get into the makeup vibe, and then it gets into this kind of ashy, smoky, leathery vibe, and they all mix together. So here's what I want you to think. I want you to think, it could be 1970s, or it could just be some retro. You go to a house with after hours party, and it just so happens to be 1970s decor. How's that? So you've just hit the clubs. It's 2 a.m. Everyone's off to an after hours party. You've got ruby red squirt mixed with your favorite adult beverage. I don't know, vodka, whatever. Okay, and mixed with perfume, cologne, makeup, cosmetic case, mixed with 70s leather couch. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen The Love Boat, so you know what I mean. Okay, the 1970s leather couches that everybody had. You're sitting on this leather couch, and then all of a sudden you get this blast of cigarettes and cigars, and there's kind of a very strong, I don't know, it's not tobacco, but it's like smoky and ash vibe to it. And it mixes all into this thing that we call Imitation Man. So I do not think this is a Dior Homme copy by any stretch of the imagination. Not at all, in fact. And this is a highly original release. In fact, last week I was saying that a niche company, if they're going to charge a lot, they should either have fantastic smelling and or original releases, and this one is definitely an original release. If you wear this as your signature scent, people will always associate you with this fragrance, because I really enjoyed the flamboyant nature of it. So there's the notes. I mean, we're looking at the citron, the rose, iris, leather, patchouli, myrrh, leather, and then I guess castoreum, which of course, if for the Spanish speakers out there, you know that comes from refers to beaver, and so that is an animalic note. So again, this one, flamboyant and raunchy. How's that? How's that for a 1970s after hours post club party? All right, see what you get as part of the VIP experience at That Cologne Guy. That's what it is, though. It really is unforgettable. Let me take a moment right now, actually, and read for you what Christopher Chong said. So this is an interview that I found that he did in 2018 on Fragrantica, and he said the following. The reason why Christopher called the new release Imitation is important. It is an imitation of his life where life becomes art. Moreover, he believes there is no such thing as original. Everything pre-exists already. What we do is imitate. He said, quote, I was inspired by Andy Warhol. He imitated everyday supermarket objects and turned them into subjects. So you see, imitation refers to art, and it's not an imitation of anything. And I think that will give you a different take on this fragrance. He later went on to talk also about the fact that this is an olfactive imitation of New York City's subcultures in the 1970s. This chypre and leather fragrance represents an era of audacious freedom, and I have to tell you, I buy into it. The fragrance really lives up to this description, or vice versa, as I said earlier. He later goes on and talks about his childhood, and I wanted to read that right now. So the little documentary that they did about Imitation, it says, it was filmed in modern New York in memory of New York of the 1970s, the city where Christopher Chong spent his childhood. It is full of a boy's first impressions of the melting pot of cultures, the bright graffiti and neon lights, the spirit of personal liberty and creativity which formed his view of the world and understanding of art. The 1970s in New York was the time of fun, experiments, and sensuality. People partied all night long. Little Christopher did not understand then what it was like to go straight from the nightclub to work. But in the morning, on his way to school, he met people coming out of the clubs, wondering where they would go next. So, you know, I didn't really like Imitation Man as a name early. I still am not completely sold on it. But one thing I really appreciate about this fragrance is that it matches his vision. And so this is a smashing success in that sense. As I said, it's highly, highly original. It's not versatile at all, but that is not a limitation as long as you know where you're going to be wearing this. Definitely for the clubs / after hours party. Okay, so let's look at actually the longevity, projection, and sillage. I have to tell you, I think it might just be because of the decant. The projection really wasn't that long for me, and I have a feeling though it's just because of the decant. And this is also starting to run out. You can see. So I'm going to chalk this up as a decant issue because my projection was actually about 4 to 6 hours. I didn't get as much as I would expect from an Amouage, but let's put an asterisk next to that, and we'll just say 6. How's that? Because I was certainly a little bit surprised. After about the 4-hour mark, you really couldn't pick it up, and it was close to the skin, which goes contrary to what a lot of people said about it. So I'm going to go ahead and say again that it might be, if I had a full bottle, I feel more confident that the projection would be better. The longevity was, again, so projection would have been arm's length for the first 2 to 3, and then after that it would have been pretty close to the skin, like I said, about the 4 to 6. So we'll call longevity just a 6-hour mark with this one, and I have a sneaky suspicion it'd be a full 6 to 8, if not more, with the full bottle. Let me know if you have this one, what your longevity and projection are. And sillage was a little bit better. Sillage was a little bit better. Coming in and out of rooms, people would be able to get your scent trail, and it performed more typical of an Amouage in that sense. Who's going to be wearing this? This one actually, to me, is closer to this is of course Imitation Man, but this one to me is closer to unisex than some of the other fragrances that I've been reviewing lately. I've been more on like the 80% and up percentile would be for men. This one I'd put probably at like a 60-40. I think 60 actual people owning this, buying it, would be 60% men, 40% women. A woman could pull this one off. I found this actually relatively unisex. Again, if it's flamboyant and raunchy, there's nothing masculine or feminine about that, right? I mean, I think I think 60-40 split is what I would say, and I would say of the ones that I reviewed from Amouage recently, this one is probably the most unisex. It transcends gender. You see, you're getting all the golden nuggets here at That Cologne Guy. It really does, though. So that one is, and when it comes to the season, I would say, to me, it's not so much about the season as it is all about where you're wearing it. And so, man, I would almost have to say any season except for the ultra heat. Anytime you're looking in a chypre, they can get a little cloying, and with leather, they can get a little cloying in the heat. So I would say maybe 90 and up. I don't think I would wear this. So I would say maybe it's a winter, spring, fall fragrance, and then probably I wouldn't reach for it so much in the summer, but if you wear this all year round, you could let me know. All right, so in terms of age, if you're looking for something along the lines of an after hours party, then you're probably thinking 50s and up. No, I'm just kidding. If you're looking at after hours parties, you're probably looking at 20s and up. So I'm going to say this one is 21 and all the way up to anybody who's a night owl and wants to party into the wee hours of the morning. All right, so there you have it. That's Imitation Man. I really enjoyed going over the ebb and the flow of this fragrance. There is just so much going on here, and I really enjoyed this week, and I'm sad to see this one go. As far as in terms of my rating, this one is a 4 out of 5 sprays for me. And I have to tell you, if I just wanted to rate chypres, I would even consider 5 out of 5. That said, I think with a couple of things would keep it from a 5. Number one, I guess really a 5 out of 5 should be just like incredibly versatile, or a little bit more versatile, right? This one is a little bit restricted in its use. Although, by the way, I will mention though, one positive is the beautiful bottle. The bottle is gorgeous. I'm not really of the mindset of buying something for the bottle itself. That said, though, the bottle is beautiful, and so I don't think I can go with the versatility being limited. I don't think I could go 5 out of 5. I also don't think I can go 5 out of 5 with the longevity and projection, even though I mentioned, though, that, of course, that could just be the decant. I still don't envision being at like Interlude Man, where I would be getting, 14 plus. But again, you guys can correct me if you do get fantastic projection and longevity. I also think the name, I understand what he's trying to do, and I like it. It's a bold. Look, if you give a name Imitation Man and people think it smells like Dior Homme, that could lead to someone say, well, maybe there is because they're imitating Dior Homme. We now know, we have cracked the code in this episode, so we now know why it's called Imitation Man. I'm pretty sold on that. I really like what Christopher Chong did here. It's certainly not a marketing ploy. You have to really give it to Amouage because, Beach Hut Man, Imitation Man, a lot of their names don't lend themselves to marketing, right? It's more all about the fragrance, and that's what I love about this house. So that said, I think I'm going to go 4 out of 5. I think I'll deduct a little tiny bit just because of the name, and also the projection, the longevity, and finally on the versatility. All right, so there you have it. 4 out of 5, solid release, and don't forget my dare. Try your best to say Imitation Man without smiling. You won't be able to do it. So I am going to go. If I have enough left, I'm going to go 1 on each wrist and 1 on each side of the neck for Imitation Man by Amouage. Boom. Boom. First one didn't work. Oop. Boom. Boom. And boom. Ooh, just barely. Just barely. That is all she wrote. All right, there you have it, folks. Another episode by the boards. Had a blast with this one, and again, pun intended. Let me know what you think. What do you think of Imitation Man? Do you agree? Do you feel like it is more of a Dior Homme copy, or do you feel like the makeup is toned down enough? Do you find that you are able to discern between grapefruit and citron? Do you find that the patchouli the leather and everything really dominate here. Did you pick up more of the violet note? I personally didn't, but maybe you did, and always let me know about duration, the projection and longevity. All right, so thank you so much again. Please leave a comment down below if you do wear this, and let us know what you think. I would love to hear from you. And always remember, fragrance marks the celebration of today. Take care, everybody. When I lived in Spain, there were a few times where we actually went out to clubs, and then we actually met people at a church for Sunday Mass, and so the next morning, right? So if you're doing something like that, then Imitation Man would be perfect for you. We'll go with 21 and up, just because of the after hours, wee hours of the morning thing. There you have it. This one is just all over the charts. I love all of the ebb and flow of this fragrance. Imitation Man, you know, here's what I'll say. The next time you guys are out way late into the wee hours of the morning and you're rocking either Imitation Man or any fragrance that you like, you will think of me, and you will think of That Cologne Guy in this channel. Drop me a line, leave a comment the next time that happens, and I sincerely hope that you're having a great time. All right.